Hi, I'm Bailee, aka The Vegetarian Guide, and in this video we're going to talk about the 13 things I wish I had known from the beginning of my vegetarian journey that would have made the whole thing way easier. Let's get started. So again, my name is Bailee. I've been a vegetarian for over 14 years now at the time of making this video, and I am a vegetarian lifestyle coach. So I help people like you who are interested in starting a vegetarian diet do that so it's fun and easy and you can stick with it long term. Now, when I first started going vegetarian all those years back, I actually failed the first time that I tried because I made a lot of the common mistakes that new vegetarians make. However, after about a year, I gave it another try and I had learned so much along that way and all of these different things, which I now teach to everyone who wants to go vegetarian. And that was ultimately what did it. I was able to stick with it. And now 14 years later, here I am helping others go vegetarian as well. But over those years, I've learned a ton of stuff that I wish I had known at the very beginning because it would have made my journey so much easier. And in this video, we're going to talk about those 13 things that I wish I had known from the very get-go that maybe would have helped me not fail the first time and that would have made my journey a whole lot easier and more enjoyable from the beginning. The first thing is that getting protein is so much easier than you think it's going to be. Whenever you go vegetarian or someone talks about vegetarian or veganism or whatever it is, everyone's first question is, but how do you get protein? Super easily. It's really not that hard. There's protein in almost everything, but especially in a lot of plant-based sources like beans and tofu and even spinach and whole grains, eggs, dairy. There are so many things that have protein in them. As long as you're eating a whole food balanced diet, you're going to get a lot of those foods in there that are going to give you the protein that you need. You don't have to stress about it. Getting rid of meat doesn't mean that suddenly your protein is going to tank and you're going to feel weak and scrawny and fatigued all the time. Of course, you need to make sure that you're getting enough, especially in the beginning. You might want to track it for a little while just to be sure, but I guarantee you, you're probably getting more than you think and you really do not have to stress about it. The second thing are that multivitamins are your secret weapon. Here's the thing, if you're eating a whole food balanced diet, you're probably getting the vast majority of the nutrition that you need from your diet. However, there are some things like vitamin B12, iron, other nutrients that you have to pay attention to when you've gone vegetarian. And taking a multivitamin is the easiest way to get everything that you need and to cover any gaps that you might have. That's, again, you should be getting most of your nutrition from your diet, so don't rely on a multivitamin for everything. You still need to be getting fruits and vegetables and proteins and all of those other yummy things. But a multivitamin is kind of like a security blanket for you to make sure that you're getting what you need without having to think about it so much. The third thing is that you cannot rely on willpower. You cannot go into this with all of this motivation that you have in the very beginning and think that you're just going to be able to push through and overcome and everything's going to be great and dandy. No, instead of focusing on pushing yourself and forcing yourself to be vegetarian with all that willpower, the most important thing you can do are to build habits and systems and put those in place to make your journey so much easier. For example, focus on meal planning. Focus on eating really easy meals and building up a repertoire of meals that you can whip up like that without having to think about them. Ease into your diet. Do things that are going to make it easier for you to transition and make it more of a lifestyle instead of forcing yourself with willpower and expecting yourself to get over the hurdles of cravings and everything just by using sheer willpower. It won't work. You have to have systems and plans in place to help you set up these habits that are going to last you a lifetime, which is what I teach here at the Vegetarian Guide. So stick with me. Grab my free Secrets to Success ebook. I'll link that in the description below, and I promise you're going to be fine. Number 4 is something that I absolutely did not see coming when I went vegetarian, and that is that you're going to get pushback from both ends of the spectrum. And what I mean by that is that you have meat eaters on one end who are almost going to get offended sometimes when you tell them that you're vegetarian. They're going to get very defensive about their choice to eat meat, and a lot of them will assume that you're judging them for continuing to eat meat when you tell them that you've gone vegetarian. I think most of us would acknowledge that's not the case. We have done our choice because that's what works for us. That's the lifestyle that we want. Of course, we wish more people knew about vegetarianism and the benefits of that, and we would love for everyone in the world to do it. But I would think that most people are not going to be so pushy about it. But that's the expectation, the assumption that a lot of people, especially meat eaters, are going to have when you tell them about your choices. And then on the complete other end of the spectrum, you have people who eat a vegan diet who will judge you for eating dairy and eggs and not going full in on a vegan diet. It's this weird middle ground to be in. You get judgment and not so nice things from both sides. If you need any evidence of that, you can go check out my video for vegans versus vegetarian, which diet is for you. You can see the comments on there. Some of the things that come up is a little bit of what you can expect as a new vegetarian. It is what it is. It's something that you learn to deal with, and it's just something that you need to be aware of. You might be in this middle ground for a while. Number 5, this is the thing that tripped me up the most the first time that I tried to go vegetarian, and that was that I tried to do it overnight. I said from one day to the next, I am a vegetarian. I shall never eat meat again. Sweeping declaration, I am done. And guess what? I couldn't hold it. After a couple of weeks, I ended up giving up and going back to my meat eating ways. And that's the thing you need to know about going into this, is that it is a journey. It is a marathon, not a sprint. If you can ease into your vegetarian diet, it's going to be so much easier for you to maintain it over time. And that's the most important thing. It doesn't matter that you can go vegetarian as fast as you can if you're going to ultimately give it up later because you burn out. So really, really focus on easing into your diet, taking a few weeks, even a few months to cut out different meats or to eat fewer and fewer meals with meat in them. And I promise you're going to be able to stick to your diet so much better than if you try to cut it out too fast. The 6th thing I wish I knew when I went vegetarian is that meals are no longer a main dish and sides like you're used to when you eat meat meals. Normally when you're eating meat, it's like you have this big slab of meat in the middle of your plate, and then you maybe have some grains and some veggies around the side. When you go vegetarian, meals don't look like that anymore. Most of your meals are going to be what I like to call mixed up meals, and that means that your grains, your veggies, your proteins are kind of all blended together, like pastas and stir fries and casseroles, Mexican dishes, things like that. If you go into it with that mindset, it's going to be much easier for you to find vegetarian meals that you like, instead of trying to always find that center, middle, whatever you call it, star of the plate, replacing the meat and your sides. It just makes it so much easier if you can accept vegetarian food for what it is. Look for these mixed up meal recipes. It's going to make it a lot easier for you, and you're going to have a lot more foods that you can enjoy. The 7th thing I wish I'd known from the beginning were just how bad for you processed fake meats can be. And I know you don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that either. But a lot of these vegetarian or vegan meats that you're buying at the grocery store, the frozen veggie patties, the fake corn dogs, the sausages, whatever they are super, super processed with a lot of stuff in them that's probably not so great. Still better than meat. Gonna throw that out there. Challenge me if you will. However, I would argue that you should not be including them as a strong base for your diet. I know when you first start, it sounds way easier to just use these to swap out your meat that you're used to eating with these vegetarian alternatives. However, I would really try to push you to eat whole foods from the beginning as much as possible. So that means getting your proteins from beans and tofu and these other sources instead of from these fake meat products, because you're going to fall into comparison is another thing. Because you're used to eating meat, you really liked meat, and now you're switching over to these imitation products. They're not going to taste as good. They just don't, sorry. And that's going to leave you a little bit disappointed. Also, they're just not a very healthy alternative compared to what else is available out there. So do your best. I wish I had done this from the beginning, that I had learned some more whole food meals that I could eat instead of relying on these meat products. It's okay to eat them every once in a while, of course, but see what you can do about finding recipes that use whole, healthy food ingredients instead. The 8th thing I wish I knew from the beginning was what a game changer smoothies are. I drink a smoothie every day now, and in that smoothie I include Greek yogurt and seeds and spinach, things that have protein in them and fruits and vegetables, so that I'm getting a lot of my vitamins and my nutrition first thing in the morning in a super convenient way. This is a really great way to get protein in from the beginning of the day, which keeps you feeling full. It's convenient because you can take it on the go. It's got tons of nutrients in it. I put blueberries in mine and banana and kale and all these other things that I would never just sit and like eat a bowl of blueberries or like eat a bowl of kale or whatever. But if you put them all together in a smoothie, I'm getting all of those things in every day. And it's just a super great way to get protein and nutrients on your vegetarian diet. The 9th thing I wish I had known from the beginning was that slip-ups are going to happen, and they are not the end of the world. I remember the first time when I tried to go vegetarian that I would slip up and eat a piece of pizza with pepperoni on it, or I would give in to temptation and have that McDonald's cheeseburger, and then I would beat myself up about it and say, ugh, you can never go vegetarian. You can't even get over eating one burger. And I would just totally beat myself up, and that gets in your head. It totally does. Because when you tell yourself you're crap, you tell yourself that you're never going to succeed, you question why you're doing it, then your brain starts to believe it, and guess what? Before you know it, you've given up on your diet. So be sure that if you have a slip up, you just let it go. You have the rest of your life, every meal from now on, to make a better choice, to learn from the mistake that you've perhaps made, and just to give yourself grace and get over it. It's totally okay. Just keep moving forward. A little bit of progress is better than giving up completely because you made one mistake. Number 10 is always be prepared to bring your own food. I didn't know this when I went in, and I always expected that there were going to be vegetarian options at parties and family get-togethers and even lunch at work, and there weren't always options. So you kind of have to get used to bringing things for a while, at least until you know that your family is going to make something for you, for example, or you can call and ask your friends ahead of time, hey, I'm coming to this party. Do you have anything vegetarian on the menu? If not, no big deal. I would love to bring something to share. You have to get used to doing that to ensure that you have something you can eat. Otherwise, it's going to be really, really easy to give into temptation. Again, doesn't have to be a big deal. People usually like when you bring a dish to share, and they like experimenting with your vegetarian food. And it doesn't have to be a burden for you. It's just something to be aware of. Number 11 is that you have to be mindful of weight gain. And I have to admit, I'm one of those like super awful people who doesn't put on weight very easily. So I haven't struggled with this completely myself, but I have had friends who have struggled with this. And what happens is that when you go vegetarian, you start eating all the processed meat, you start eating a lot of bread, you start eating a lot of pasta because those are really easy options. And all of a sudden you might find that you're putting on weight from eating those things. It happens. So you really need to be careful in the beginning and make sure that you're getting whole foods, plant-based, lots of vegetables, lots of healthy things in your diet, and that you're getting a blend of all of those things, and that you're not relying on these processed foods or a lot of carbs, because you might fall into a cycle of gaining weight from this. One thing you can do is to track your diet in the beginning. So for the first week or two, use an app and you can plug in what you're eating and see how you're doing with the nutrients, the balance of your carbs and your proteins and your fats, so you can adjust a little bit. It's not something that you have to do forever. You don't have to do it at all if you don't want to, but it can really give you a good picture of what your diet looks like, how your nutrients are balancing, and if you need to make any tweaks. Number 12 is that you have to have a community around you. It makes it so much more fun to go vegetarian if you have friends or a Facebook group or something where you can share the recipes that you're eating, or you can find new recipes, that you can ask questions, that you can talk to others about what you're going through. It just makes it feel more real. It's a more integrated part of your lifestyle if you can share this with other people and you have a support system and you're not just doing it all on your own. I would love for you to be part of my community. You can find me on Instagram and here on YouTube, and I would love to support you in any way that I can. That's my mission. My goal is to help this be fun and easy for you, so I'm here for you all the time. But be sure to hop into those Facebook groups, the forums, find your people that are also going vegetarian or other vegetarian friends. And of course, you can always lean on friends and family to support you throughout your journey. Just make sure you have some people in your corner, because that makes the whole vegetarian journey so much more fun and easy. And last but not least, number 13, the thing I wish I had known when I started from the very beginning, is how rewarding this entire journey is. When you get started, it seems like it's so freaking hard. You have to think about it at every meal. You don't know what to eat. That temptation is coming in. You really want that McDonald's cheeseburger. Is it really worth it? And I'm here to tell you, after 14 years, yes, it is so worth it. To know that every day when you sit down to a meal, that you have a purpose, you have a passion, that you're doing something for the world with every meal, that you're making yourself more healthy, you're improving our environment, you're helping our animal friends, can't be beat. You just kind of have to get over those hurdles in the beginning of making it happen. Again, that's what I'm here to help you with, to make it more fun and to make it so much easier so that you can enjoy all of these amazing rewards. There you have it. These are the 13 things I wish I had known when I went vegetarian that would have made my journey so much easier. But do remember, it is a journey. There's a learning curve. There are going to be some bumps in the roads and some struggles and some challenges. But if you have the right mindset and you know that the rewards are going to be right there for you at the end, and you enjoy the journey and you have fun with it and you enjoy learning along the way, I promise this vegetarian lifestyle is going to be one that you're going to love for the rest of your life. Please be sure to catch all of my other videos that help you to go vegetarian the fun and easy way. Thank you so much for watching this video, and until next time, cheers to your vegetarian adventure.